Welcome everybody to another episode of the Tony Blanco podcast. Today's episode is going to be about Kanye West, okay? I know, quite the controversial figure, but I mean, this guy's legendary. This guy changed hip hop forever. And it's only fitting that we do this week's episode on Kanye when last week's was 50 Cent. For anybody who knows about the big change in hip hop that happened, I mean, Drake wouldn't exist if Kanye didn't change the game when, that happened. So essentially 50 Cent was like the number one rapper at the time, and then they went face to face. Look it up, 50 Cent, Kanye West, 2008. I know that's the same year that Drake exploded on the scene and everything, but you got to understand, like, this was monumental to the shift of hip hop towards an emotional direction that actually like paved the way for artists like Drake to be able to express themselves emotionally and not have to pretend to be these gangster rappers, or even like, just the shit, fuck pretending, but like, where the focus isn't on the gangster, but the focus became on the emotion and whatnot. But anyway, so Kanye West, changed the game, absolute legend. And so we're going to go over a couple quotes of his. Now, before we get into this, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. You could be anywhere on the internet, but y'all here with me and, diving deep into psychology, diving deep into philosophy. And I felt like it was an absolutely necessary time to mesh the art of Tony Blanco, hip hop, music, and also, the philosophy and the public speaking and all that. So that's why I'm bringing music now into the equation. Still, our conversations will be about fitness, about self-development, about being the best version of yourself, about persuasion. Remember, I got the ebook for all servers and bartenders about how to use psychology to actually get more tips, right? So it's all still self-development. I'm just now bringing in one of my biggest passions, and y'all know I got over 200 songs on Spotify and Apple Music. If you don't know, now you know. Go check it out. Even right here on this YouTube page, on this YouTube channel, I have not only my philosophical stuff, but I also have my music. Almost all of my songs are right here on this very YouTube channel. So without much further ado, let's get into the first quote. First quote by Kanye is, "Know your worth." People always act like they're doing more for you than you're doing for them. This is amazing because of how it coincides with the first quote that I read about last week. On last week's episode, remember, it was about how when you stop doing for somebody, then they act out like as if you're taking something from them. Meanwhile, it was you that's giving the whole time. So one more time, let's read over this quote. Know your worth. Again, what have I been saying in videos past? Know thyself. When you don't know your worth and you don't know thyself, you can't get closer to your goals, and you are far from being able to serve humanity for the best of, your capability and for the best that it can be done, because you don't know yourself. You don't know your talents. You don't know what you struggle with. You don't know your weaknesses. You don't know your strengths. You got to know both. You understand? Know your worth, because people are always going to act like they're doing more for you than you're doing for them. Sometimes it requires an explanation. Most of the time it does not require an explanation. And like I've said in videos past, don't argue with these people. Don't make yourself unbased or get off of your baseline and react to these people who there's something wrong with them. Sometimes, like somebody told me once, in regards to a situation that I was in and people who I was dealing with who were close to me, somebody whispered in my ear, like, yo, put them in their place. And it's like, bro, sometimes that's not a necessary conversation. People are struggling with their own things. Perception is reality. And so you're going to have to, let them suffer by themselves. You are not the deliverer of karma. God is. Let God deal with that, but sometimes people do need to be put in their place. Sometimes the conversation does call for it. So that being said, when you know your worth and you know what you're bringing to the table, and it really is more, than more that you are giving to them than what they are doing for you, then, if it pleases you to put them in their place by spitting some facts, go ahead and spit some facts. But honestly, philosophically, most of the time it doesn't really require that conversation. If you want to put it in art, or you want to put it into something that's progress based, something that is going to actually like move the needle, and it's an action that's intentional, that is maybe expression of self, that helps you move forward, or that brings money in, then okay. But if it's just a yap type thing, there's no need for that explanation. There's no need for that conversation. You understand what I'm saying? It's got to be worth your time. It's got to be in alignment with your goals. All of your actions should be in alignment with your goals. And it's got to be, part of you knowing your worth. Number 2, would you believe in what you believe in if you were the only one who believed it? That's some existential, that's some like real introspective shit right there. Like, would you believe in what you believe in if you were the only one who believed it? What if you were the only one who believed in yourself? What if nobody else believed in you? And when I say nobody else, I mean just the people who you associate with, because you haven't really put yourself out there like that. But your mom, your dad, they're losers. Your freaking, your older cousin, or, the people on the block, whatever, they don't see good for themselves. So they definitely don't see good for you. And now you're judging yourself based on what these losers think of you. Nah, bro. You got to believe in yourself and your product regardless. Would you believe in what you believe in if you were the only one who believed it? You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody is going to believe in you. And nobody is coming to save you. So you have to kind of be nuts. You have to kind of be delusional about yourself, about your success, about what you bring, about your service that you provide, your contribution to humanity. Because it's kind of like, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around to hear it, did it fall? Or did it make a sound? Yeah, it made a sound, right? You are the tree. You got to make sounds regardless of if anybody is listening or not. Because you're going to leave a beaten path. You're gonna leave, footsteps or evidence of what was. When all of this is said and done, when this current life that we're living right now, it's into the next generation, and we're in the physical form gone, forgotten about, what was your contribution? What did you leave for the next generation? Number 3, people say I'm out of my mind, but I've been out of my mind for a long time. Bro, think about that, man. People really will talk down on you for thinking big. But, the book Think and Grow Rich, it says that you have to have imagination. Almost every book about self-development, about being a millionaire and finances and growing wealth and riches, always comes down to the thought process of you have to think big. People who think small will stay small. The bigger you dream, the more that you have imagination and think big, that's closer and closer to what you could actually achieve. You get what I'm saying? So, people could think you're crazy for having big goals. That's okay. Let them think what they want to think, but you have to move forward on your goals. You have to believe in yourself. Number 4, I refuse to accept other people's ideas of happiness for me. As if there's a one-size-fits-all standard for happiness. Bro, like, what makes you happy is so different from what makes me happy. And again, with people close to you, people who love you, your parents or teachers, mentors, different people, they want to try and, give you advice on stuff that is a societal norm, or, what they find happiness in. When really, at the end of the day, you could learn from a lot of people, but you have to come up with your own idea of what happiness is to you, and you curate that life for you. Because if you don't, you're living out somebody else's blueprint, following somebody else's recipe, and you might not like the taste of what comes out. So don't let other people define happiness for you, man. My speech that I gave when I graduated high school, yeah, I was vice president of the trade school that I went to. You know, so the regular high school that I went to, I wasn't part of the student council. I wouldn't even be considered, you know, for it. But the trade school that I went to also, that was awesome because it was such, you know, a split between, in the one school, the regular high school that I went to, people didn't see me as like, you know, like upscale like that. They saw me as like, you know, one of the, like, I guess for lack of a better word, hoodlums almost, like whatever. I'm from Brooklyn. It's not like, you know, my style didn't really fit into that school. But then, you know, for the rest half of the day, we would get on a bus and we would go to the nearest city. And then, you know, people there were also from New York and stuff. So I was almost like, you know, part of this different group when I went to the trade school, because you had people that were actually hoodlums and whatnot, and like they looked at me as like the goody two shoes, or like the good guy, like the guy who like was involved in stuff. You know what I mean? Whereas in the high school that I went to, I wasn't involved in stuff. I was one of those people. So it's just a sharp contrast. It's very hard to describe, but like you get what I mean. I gave a speech because I was vice president of student council for graduation. And in that speech, I spoke about the definition of success. And the reason why I spoke about the definition of success was because it was my opportunity to speak to the parents of, and my own parents, but the parents of all the students that were graduating, because I didn't want for the people I was graduating with to be judged by their parents, and for their parents to be projecting onto their kids all these fake dreams and, you know, fake BS of what they should be doing just because they are following a societal norm or a definition of happiness or success that is not that of my fellow students, of my fellow classmates. That was super, super important to me, to spark thought within not only my classmates, but in their parents as well, so that everybody understands that we're all on our own path. We're all on our own path of success, and we define success, we define happiness for ourselves. Until we do that, we will never ever ever find success or find happiness, because we don't even know what that is. Somebody else's happiness might be, you know, visiting Antarctica, but if you send me to Antarctica, I'm gonna be fucking pissed, bro, because that's not my version of happiness. That's not my definition. You understand? Number 5, they say people in your life are seasons, and anything that happens is for a reason. That's from the song too. That's from the song that he did with Adam Levine. That was a great song, man. But they say people in your life are seasons, and anything that happens is for a reason. I mean, that is so true, man. There are some people who are like forever people. You know, your parents, God bless, they are your forever people. You know, which is why, like, on earlier subjects, I'm not talking shit about your parents, bro. I'm just saying, like, you have to allow yourself, give yourself forgiveness and compassion enough to form your own ideas of success and happiness. Because your parents love you so much, they want what's safest for you. They want, you know, to follow those social norms, because they don't want you to go against the crowd. They want you to be liked. They don't want people to point at you and be like, haha, you know, like, he's a loser, or, you know, he's you know, following some big fake dream that he'll never achieve or whatever. Like, your parents want to keep you safe and from bad things and risk free, but you got to understand, the people who do big things take big risks. I moved 1,000 miles away from my family's house. I took a risk. This is the most successful I've ever been in my life. I'm doing fantastic. I got my YouTube channel, I got my brand, I got my music. I'm in school for massage therapy. I'm, you know, in one of the best positions in the place that I work at. I'm respected wherever I go. I'm outside in the city. I'm outside at the beach. I know people. People see me, they dap me up. I know people everywhere, all over the city, man. This is life for me. This is beautiful. You know, it's incredible. You gotta take a risk. If you wanna do something, do it. And people come and go. But everything is a lesson. People are a lesson. You know, and I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, you know, everything happens for a reason. So if you have an appointment and you're late to that appointment, You know, people could curse and be like, oh man, oh fuck, I'm late, this and that. I'm like, I look at my rosary that's in my car, I grab it, and I kiss Jesus. Because God has a plan. God's keeping you safe. You know, your parents want to keep you safe, but God's really keeping you safe. Regardless of all the big risks, the dreams he gives you, he wants you to take a risk. He wants you to go through growth, and pain and suffering is necessary to grow resilience, to grow strong. Like being in the gym, you rip your muscles to grow bigger muscles. You know, God believes in tough love. He loves you. He wants you safe. But you gotta experience stuff if you really want to be who you say you want to be. You understand what I'm saying? And people are seasons. Yes, they come and go. They're temporary. It's okay, man. Let go. Take a deep breath. Let go. You have no codependencies. You don't need anybody besides yourself. The person you see in the mirror, that's the person that you need. Accountability for your life, your goals, your dreams. Love people, but don't get attached to people. Want outcomes, but don't be attached to an outcome. You understand? Be grateful, because everything truly has a reason. And everything comes to an end. And you know, it's like nothing lasts forever. All of these beautiful little quotes and all these little philosophical phrases that are real shit, man. People might be seasons, but that's okay, because everything happens for a reason. Yo, this one was short and to the point. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Feed me some ideas. Tell me some stuff you want to hear us talk about. You know, let's have a conversation. Let's have a video, you and me talking. You know, if you enjoyed it, you got something to say, or you want to hear a topic, discuss more, awesome. Go ahead and like, share with somebody you feel like it would really resonate with. Comment your thoughts, whatever you'd like. Just engage somehow, some way. Subscribe. We are getting closer and closer to our goal of, I'm moving the needle now. We're getting closer to 200, so I'm going to make that goal 500, all right? So we got a big goal for the YouTube channel. But this is part of that integration process. This is part of the brand building, okay? I've been playing a lot of my music on Instagram. So if y'all follow me on Instagram and TikTok, y'all already know I've been posting some clips of my music lately, a little bit more, because of the fact that I'm integrating, you know, all the different parts of my brand into one. I hope you're not confused. Y'all know I'm a multifaceted being. I'm a Gemini. And so, you know, I'm just putting all my masks in one spot so that you could experience all of me and that we could grow together. So check my music out on Spotify and Apple Music. Without much further ado, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for being here. Much love. Peace.